Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of my action figure unboxings slash reviews. Today we are going to be looking at the Toys R Us exclusive Guardians of the Galaxy Groot. Now this one I didn't get from Toys R Us, I got it from my local Comic-Con. One of the vendors there sold it to me for 25 bucks, which I think is a pretty good deal, seeing as how there are no longer Toys R Us's in my country that I can go to get this. And I'm sure scalpers online will be jacking this price up to, I don't know, I haven't looked, probably like hundreds of dollars. But anyway, we have the Groot main figure that was part of the Build-A-Figure series that came with the other Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as two additional little Groots, which I really like that they threw in there. So let's take a look at the box. We've got the classic Marvel Legends box, or the current Marvel Legends box that they're using. On the side, we have a picture of the figures themselves. We've got Big Groot, Smaller Groot, Smallest Groot. On the top, we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy logo. On the back, we've got a brief description of the character. We've got all three of the figures that it comes with, and all this junk down on the bottom. And then we've got the same image on the side, and then we're back to the front. Now let's get into this bad boy, because I'm excited. So normally I do a lot of my removing the figures from the package off camera, but I thought it was notable to say that this figure is so darn big that they had to take his legs and put him on the bottom of the packaging because, like I said, this figure is so damn big. He was a Build-A-Fig that came with the different figures, so it makes total sense, but I thought that was at least worth noting. So if you look in the box and say, oh, he looks so damn short, the legs are actually down there on the bottom. Now that we have him fully out of the box and assembled, I have to say, this figure looks gorgeous. I think that it's a little bit of a different paint scheme than the individual Build-A-Figure figures. It looks a little bit more green, like they shaded it a little more. He's got a lot of detail in the eyes. Let me get right in here and see if I can show you. They even gave him lighting. He has, if you can see it, just this actual paint on the inside of the eyes that gives it a nice look. He actually looks less soulless than, say, and I did get the Rocket figure that came with the Build-A-Figure series, which came with, I believe, his head and his torso. So I do have the standard head, and if you notice, this one's got a bit of a, kind of a stoic, bland, not smiling but not frowning expression, and he's got the black, kind of soulless looking eyes, but in comparison, I like the one that it came with better. That one's got a really much more detailed paint job, and he's got the big dumb Groot smile, which I absolutely adore. And just out of curiosity, because that's what I do, is I get curious. So the head does swap off pretty easy, so that is a nice detail. They gave it a nice different head so you can use it for different photos. Say if you don't want him smiling like an idiot, big dumb idiot, he can have an interchangeable head. So yeah, it's a very, very frickin' tall figure. And let me get into these two first, actually. This is the Guardians 2 little Groot right here, and he does not like to stand up. His feet are very small, and I don't know if it's just the way they were in the packaging, but they're nearly impossible to stand up. But I can easily, oh, holy flippin' goodness, I got him to stand up, and now I'm gonna move him, and he's not gonna do it anymore. Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, you've also got a little dancing baby Groot. He does not move, he's not articulated, but it is just a nice little thing to have there. I do actually really like that. I'm going to end up putting that, somewhere in the background of my photos like I do with some of my Porgs. It is about the same size, maybe a little bit taller than the Porgs, but anyway, that is the smaller Groots that come with this, and now let's get into the big boy. We're going to do the articulation first. We're going to go into the head. Because this guy is so big, he actually doesn't work very well within the range of camera space that I have, so I'm gonna have to do some kind of fancy tricks to get that to work. Anyway, his head, he's got the ball joint, which allows him to swap out the heads. He's got some up, he's got some down, he's got a little bit of rocker side to side. His head can go all the way around, and that's about it when it comes to the head articulation. Then when you get into the shoulders, he's got a pin in there, so he can go all the way around. He can go 360 degrees around. He can go out. He can go up a good amount. And then you get to the elbow. He's got swivel on the elbows. He also has double jointed elbows, which I really enjoy. Sorry, he's got the swivel on the bicep, not the elbows. He's got double jointed elbows, which are pretty impressive. That's definitely more than 90 degrees. And then you get down to the wrist, and he's got some forward, about that much before the sculpt starts to get in the way. He's got backwards, not that much before it gets in the way, and then it can spin all the way around. You've got the same thing on the other hand and arms. Double jointed elbows, swivel at the elbow, at the bicep. You've got in and out on the wrist, and swivel. Then you get into the torso. He's got a ab crunch that gives you backwards, forwards, a little bit to the side. Okay, not a lot of side to side at all. And that's about it. And then he can twist. He's got a good amount of click in there. And I'm not 100% sure if you can take this part off and use the Guardians 1 torso, but frankly, I don't really want to. And here is where we get into the weirdest part of this figure, the articulation here at the legs. Because he doesn't have a ball joint in here, he just has a regular old pin and the hinge. So instead of being able to move his leg out, normally, I'm putting a little bit of effort in there, you have to spin the pin around to reveal this piece and move that forward. So he comes out oddly, but the knee articulation, which is single jointed, and they do pop out so he can fit in the box. So you do kind of have to do a little bit of manipulation if you want to, say, make him walk or anything. That leg is able to do it. This leg, for some reason, oh, okay, it was just a little bit stuck. But you can make him look like he's walking. But it's just a very odd bit of articulation for me, and I'm sure that's no doubt because of the fact that this figure was part of a Build-A-Figure, so they kept the same articulation, and they had to be able to have it plug in as opposed to having a solid leg peg. Or I don't understand why they couldn't have a ball in there for ease of motion, but I'm happy with it nonetheless. And then you come down to, like I said, the knees are single jointed, and you've got the ankles. Weird ankles. They don't allow for any forward movement at all, but they do come back quite a ways. Wow, they come back, so it's pretty much almost flat with the leg. He does have a pin in there for a rocker, so you can get it to go all the way around, and he does have a little peg hole, but it's going to be hard finding a peg that's actually that big. It's not like the regular 6-inch pegs, I don't think. Actually, it could be. Now that looks a little bit bigger. And you have the same thing going on with this ankle as well. So, that is it for the articulation. He doesn't come with any other accessories except for Dancing Baby Groot. And this little guy. So, I guess that's pretty much all that I have. I like this figure. I can't wait to put him up on my shelf. He's going to be towering behind everybody else, and with his big dumb smile. And then I'm going to probably put him with a couple of other figures at some point and do, I don't know, a photo shoot or something like that. I need to find my rocket, which I believe I don't have anymore now that I think about it. But anyway, it's a very nice looking figure. I'm glad to have it since I don't have any Toys R Us's in my area anymore. They don't exist here. It was nice to be able to find this at my local Comic-Con, and I'm just overall really happy with it. The paint job is wonderful. It looks just like Groot. He's got a good amount of articulation when you stop and look at it, and I'm happy with it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.